So animated movies basically now suck. Boo, boo, but what about Disney's logo? What about Disney's logo? Okay, how dare you? But it's just the animation industry as a whole. Why do most animated movies nowadays suck? And if you look at a lot of past animated movies, the movies that are meant to entertain, movies that are fun, movies that are good to watch. Okay, I can think of a lot of good examples. I say it's Dawn of the Dinosaurs, the B movie, and some of the classics, and some even the more modern movies that have came out the last years. The later Ice Age movies, a lot of people don't like the later ones. I still thought they were very entertaining movies. And that's kind of my little bow for movies. The Angry Birds movie, some of these movies that they list here are not actually that bad of movies. Like the Angry Birds movie was actually pretty fun, but I kind of like the Angry Birds series, and it actually is a good video game movie. And let's not forget the great ones like Sonic the Hedgehog, which actually does came out, and Detective Pikachu. But those are not even animated movies. Most of the modern day animated movies are basically the same, boring. And of course, there are lots of good anime movies that have came out over the past few years. There was How to Train Your Dragon 3. There was a few others as well that came out as well, such as College Free was okay, but most anime movies tend to follow the really crappy formula. This formula that seems to make movies worse. And the movies basically are now not good. Even the kings of animated movies, such as Disney and Pixar, have fallen into the realms of blandness. Let's look at the trailer for the upcoming Onward. Yes, despite the movie having such high praise among Disney fanboys, this movie still is generic. It still is the same movies that Disney is that animated movies are basically out now. Okay, I don't care what score it has on IMDb because God, I saw the trailer like 4 or 5 times on Onward. It just didn't look interesting to me at all. And the same thing with the movie Soul. Maybe am I just growing up? But wait a bit. What about the Sonic movie? I saw that, and maybe it's because I saw that movie because I liked Sonic the Hedgehog as a character. And Sonic the Hedgehog, unlike most 99% of animated movies, actually looked funny, except for the first trailer. That first trailer with the old design. The images of that old design are still burned into my head like everybody else's. Remembering that design once was the whole movie, okay? And yeah, and there are a few exceptions of good anime movies that came out the last year, like How to Train Your Dragon Hidden World. But How to Train Your Dragon Hidden World was a movie that was made 10 years ago. That movie sort of or it's a movie that was made 10 years ago. How to Train Your Dragon actually had a story. Unlike, let's go for a few examples. Ugly Dolls. This is the first notorious example we're going for here. Ugly Dolls is just bad. I didn't see the movie, but I looked at the trailer and I was like, what the hell is this garbage? What the hell is this garbage? And I didn't want to see it at all. I didn't care. I just like, why would anyone want to go out of their way, spend their hard-earned money to see this? It's like, why? Why would anyone want to see this, okay? Ugly Dolls basically is just like every other modern animated movie. And the same thing suffered with the Lego movie too, where I didn't like the first Lego movie. Yes, you can put your pitchforks down. That's my opinion. I didn't like the first Lego movie. And the Lego movie 2 was looked even worse than the Lego movie 1. Every animated movie nowadays is basically pop culture reference. Pop culture songs have to be in the movie, or else, the kids won't be able to relate to the movie, okay? The reason why How to Train Your Dragon 3 was so successful, despite a year being dominated by Disney, was because it told a story, and because people were already connected with these characters. Well, DreamWorks tried to recreate How to Train Your Dragon, and that movie was met with controversy as well. And that was Abominable. Abominable looked okay, but it just already had a lot of hate going towards it by Vietnam and Malaysia. And I think that controversy kind of killed off the movie from any sort of success at the box office at all. The fact that you had your main markets going after your movie. And now let's get to the epitome of blandness and terribleness. We want to forget this movie existed, but yes, the Emoji Movie. The Emoji Movie is the epitome of bad movies. This movie exists. That's all I have to tell you. And animated movies started getting worse after the Emoji Movie. The Emoji Movie was kind of like the spark that destroyed animated movies. The fact that this movie was a box office success is still astounding to me. That this movie, out of all the movies that could have been box office failures, box office bombs, was the Emoji Movie. Well, there were much better movies that didn't make. There was a much better movie that came out 2013, and it's not an animated movie, that came out 2013. That was much more better. It was called Blade Runner 2049. But guess what movie made money? The Emoji Movie. That's why, and this movie to this day still pisses me off. This makes more money than all of the great and a lot of great movies that didn't make money. But then we have this movie that was completely garbage, completely trash, and completely garbage make money. And now let's get to the second one. Minions. Oh yes, Minions. Okay, this is the epitome of animated movies. The first time I saw it, I thought it was funny, but it just kept getting worse and worse over time, as Minions is extreme, and basically every modern day animated movies is trying to replicate the style of Minions and Despicable Me, and it's kind of annoying. Okay, let's look at what Minions looks like. Most of the characters, of course, cartoon characters, but most of the non-Minions characters have extremely skinny bodies, which is unnatural, and extremely big heads. Look at Gru. But it's just the body shape in these movies are so unrealistic. And when you compare Minions, the Illumination art style versus DreamWorks, the people actually look like people. I know it's supposed to be a freaking cartoon. You don't have to remind me that this is a freaking cartoon movie and a freaking kids movie. I get it. But Minions is the epitome, besides the Emoji Movie. And the funny thing is, the follow-up movie to the... Oh yeah, another great anime movie that came out in the last few years. I forgot about this movie, was Spider-Man the Spider-Verse. But guess what? Spider-Man the Spider-Verse didn't have a gazillion pop culture references, a gazillion fart jokes put all over the place. Sometimes fart humor is funny, like the Great Mighty Pooh from Conker's Bad Fur Day. But sometimes it's just put in there for a cheap joke. It's just why. It makes the movie just more and less entertained. And the movie that uses the most are the Minions movies. And basically any movie that's trying to replicate this genre. And I think the reason why most companies are trying to replicate this movie is this movie. Guess which movie made $1.1 billion? Do you know the terrible movie called Captain Marvel that was hated? Guess this movie made more money than Captain Marvel? Minions. This boring, bland, and generic movie made $1.1 billion. I'm just ashamed. And also I'm saying to myself, I was forced to see this and feed this. And actually the first time I thought it was funny. But the second, third, fourth, fifth times where I was forced to watch it with other people, I was like, why is this? This is not even that funny. And it's not just Minions. Now let's bring you Walking with Dinosaurs 3D. Yes, I do want to remind you that this movie existed. Not that it was no show. The 2013 show that was bad. It was bad. The animation is good, but the movie is called Walking the Dinosaurs, so you assume it's a documentary, but it isn't. It has these annoying voices throughout the movie, and after the third time I saw this movie, I was like, this movie isn't funny, it's stupid. And with a few exceptions, most of these animated movies are not funny, okay? Most of these jokes are not funny. And another movie that, it's not an animated movie actually, it's Doolittle the movie. Yes, Doolittle the movie, okay? I know this is not an animated movie, but Doolittle is sewing, okay? If you want to really look at a movie that is the epitome of bland, the epitome of boring, the epitome of generic. It has to be Doolittle. And it's so. This movie is expected to lose over $100 million. $100 million. And, it's like, ooh, let's make another movie with Dr. Doolittle, and heavy pop culture reference and freaking joke in the movie, okay? Of course, some of the bad movies that people say are bad, like Ice Age Quiz and Course, I still find it funny, but I always had a soft spot for the entire Ice Age franchise. But then Doolittle came out. I saw the trailer like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this garbage? Get it off my screen now. And it's just the same thing of every animated movies. I do have a few soft spots for certain franchises, but when you see that every animated movie is basically the same thing. Of course, in the past few years, there were a few diamonds in the rough of animated movies. Two of them are not even animated movies, so they don't even count. And two of them are in a league of their own: How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which didn't serve every pop culture reference into the movie. So that is the problem with modern day animated movies. They're not funny, and they keep trying to replicate a style that doesn't work. And if you ever want to get the style that doesn't work, just look at Spies in Disguise. Oh yes, Disney made a Illumination style movie, and it was awful. Garbage to say at least, and it was Spies in Disguise. You can see here that the movie used very similar animation. If you look at this picture here of Spies in Disguise, you can see that he used the same art style, animation style as Illumination movies. I know, you shouldn't be caring about animation style, but it shows you. Oh, it's another Illumination-like movie. It's gonna have a ton of unfunny jokes that don't make any sense, and a ton of pop culture references that just don't make any sense. And I think the animated movies are gonna start continuing to bomb at the box office, underperform at the box office, if they continue doing this trend. The one movie that didn't do it was not even an animated movie, was, of course, Sonic the Hedgehog. Yes, the movie with Jim Carrey in it, because, of course, Jim Carrey is a master of comedy. If you can disagree with that, me or not, but you can agree that Jim Carrey was one of the best parts of the Sonic movie. And that's what, and the Sonic movie, jokes were actually good compared to 99% of animated movies nowadays. Yeah, and this is the design I was talking about. This horrid old design. We'll never forget the old design Sonic. Ever, ever, ever. He will be forever etched into our memories. Forever. So, that's it about animated movies. Animated movies have been on the downfall for years. And I think it's going to be like this for the next 4 or 5 years. Just like woke movies. Animated movies are facing a decline because of these failures that the companies keep doing. Sometimes comedy works, like in the Sonic movie, especially with Jim Carrey, or scenes of Jim Carrey, which it is funny because Jim Carrey is a comedian. But then you have these movies that's telling every pop culture joke, every, party joke that a 3-year-old would find funny. Not interesting jokes, the same 5 jokes used in every movie, and most of the jokes are not even funny in most of the movies. So, yep, that's basically it. And that's why animated movies are dying. Animated movies, but there is some hope. There is Spider-Man the Spider-Verse 2 coming out. Yep, that's the only hope for animated movies that's coming out, because both of the animated movies are sequel to generic crap that nobody cares about. So, that's basically it. Goodbye.